Today we're doing something I haven't actually done on YouTube, which is crazy considering that I am going into my 5th year of doing YouTube, but it is something that I have done on TikTok. In fact, it was one of my very first TikToks and it did so well that I figured why not do an extended version of it on YouTube, especially considering that I have been getting more and more requests to do some more high street focused content, which I am more than happy to do for you guys because I genuinely don't believe that you need to strictly wear designer to find your own aesthetic and to look put together. I think you can look incredibly chic regardless of your budget. So today we're kicking this series off with my top picks from COS. I picked up a handful of pieces from their new in section. So these are some of their latest launches for spring summer, and I have to be honest, I am really quite impressed by most pieces that I picked up. COS is not a brand that I was particularly familiar with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have bought a handful of pieces from them over the years, but I always felt that most of their pieces were quite overpriced. So I do think it's still a hit and miss brand. You do have to be careful with what you spend your money on, but most of these things I would recommend. In fact, there's only one piece that's getting returned. The rest I'm going to be keeping, or the majority I am going to be keeping. Some I do have to exchange, but I will share with you why that is when we get to the individual pieces, because we have quite a few things to get through. So if you'd like to see my top picks from COS, pieces that could really easily be from a designer house, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Let me know in the comment section if there are any other high street brands that you would like to see my top picks from, and keep on watching. The first piece I picked up from COS is something that they seem to do almost every single season. It's one of their core pieces, which I actually think that most of these pieces, if not all of them, are from their women's line, but you guys know that I really don't care about labels. I will buy whatever I like regardless of which department it's from. But the first thing that I picked up is their slim fit merino wool turtleneck, which has these really beautiful raw edges that I think makes the perfect layering piece. And to go with this, I actually picked up a pair of pants, which I thought would be nylon, but they're actually made of cotton. And it's these exaggerated barrel leg trousers that feature snap closures not only on the waist, but also on the hem, so you can kind of adjust the silhouette. Now, I do have to say that the turtleneck I do love, and I'm going to be keeping. The only criticism that I have is that it only comes in a really limited size range. It ranges between an extra small and a large. I am wearing the large here, and I do think I could probably wear an extra large because it is so insanely tight that it is kind of see-through. Now, if you're going to wear this as a layering piece, that is obviously not going to be an issue, or if you wear a bra, it might not be too revealing, but it's something you have to keep in mind. It is, of course, meant to be skin tight, but I do think they could have introduced at least a couple more sizes. I personally don't mind because, as I mentioned, I am going to be layering other pieces over it. Speaking of which, what I bought to layer over this is this really, really beautiful, it's one of my favorite pieces from this haul. I bought this cropped double-faced wool jacket that has some dropped shoulders and this really nice boxy sort of looser shape, which I think is actually great because it makes it a transitional piece. I think when it comes to these lightweight double-faced jackets, if you buy one that's quite fitted, like my Celine Cocoon coat or my Egg coat, as it was iconically named, it can be quite tough to wear it when you're out and about because it's really difficult to layer things underneath it. But because this jacket has more of a boxy fit, it allows you to layer chunkier, heavier knits underneath it to keep you warm in the colder month. But then if you want to wear it on its own in spring or in the fall, you can also do that. I love the fit. I think it is incredibly flattering. I love the fact that it's cropped, but it is a little bit looser, which I think is the perfect balance. If you love high-waisted pants as much as I do, I think this is something that you'll be able to take advantage of quite often. Now, obviously, it is from their women's line, but I genuinely think that anyone could take advantage of this piece in their wardrobe, especially if you liked, I think Kim Jones did a really similar jacket to this for Dior when he reinvented the iconic Dior bar jacket for men. That to me was really similar to this. So if you liked a crop silhouette, if you wear a lot of high-waisted pants, or if you like layering and if you like to play around with proportions, this would be an incredible staple piece to have in your collection, which I think is really nicely made. It is reasonably priced. I think this jacket was just around 150 euros. Of course, I will make sure to have everything linked down below for you on all the different COS websites, just so it's easier for you to find. But I think it's nicely made. It is reasonably priced. I think it is a piece that you would be able to wear on a really regular basis. And it also comes in a few different colors. Of course, I went for black, but it also comes in cream, light gray. I have seen this in navy and also brown. I think it just depends on the season, which colors they have out. But this is definitely something that I would highly suggest investing in, because this is one of those layering pieces that you would be able to take advantage of pretty much all year round. As much as I enjoyed every single piece that we have looked at so far, the piece that actually inspired me to do this video was this upcoming belt, believe it or not, because this is something that I have been seeing around on social media for a couple of seasons now, and anytime I saw it, I automatically assumed that it must be a belt from the Row or Just Sander, and I was always surprised to find that it was this belt from COS, so I knew I had to add this to my collection. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but I'm so happy that I did, because this, I think, is a belt that I'm not only happy to have in my collection, even though it has to be exchanged for a smaller size, but I am so excited to share it with you, because I do think that this is a need for everyone out there. I think if you are into fashion, if you enjoy luxury fashion, do not let the price tag fool you. This is an incredible piece that I know you will get a ton of wear out of. This is something that you can use over a dress, over a blazer, but you can also wear in your jeans on a daily basis. I love that really simple but really modern, sleek, rectangular hardware on this belt, which by the way is called the classic leather belt. And that is exactly what this is. It is a classic staple, beautifully understated belt that comes in brown and black, both with gold and silver hardware. Unfortunately, the silver one was sold out when I placed this order, but I'm going to check, and if it's in stock now, I will make sure to have it linked down below for you. Now, this belt comes in two different sizes. It comes in extra small to medium and medium to large. I ended up buying it in large, which was way too big. So I would suggest sizing down, or depending on what your size is. Just for reference, I usually buy jeans in size 28 or 29. So the medium to large was way too big for me, but it is definitely getting exchanged for the smaller size, because this is a belt that I cannot wait to start using. Obviously, I have a ton of belts from Hermes, but I am definitely more drawn to these more understated, sleek, really simple designs, which I bought something quite similar from the Row, which is called their jewel belt, but I ended up returning it because I felt that it was way too overpriced for how simple it was, and I really didn't feel that the leather was that soft either. And I do think it would have added a very similar facet to my collection as this belt from COS does. So I'm going to be exchanging the gold hardware version for a smaller size, and I am going to keep checking the site if the silver one comes back in stock, because this, I think, is a belt that every single person could take advantage of. Again, regardless of which department you usually shop, but I do think it is technically part of their women's line, and I think it was something like $50, or 50 euros, sorry, which I think is pretty reasonable for a leather belt that you would be able to use on such a regular basis. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but if you're going to use me for size reference, obviously do keep in mind that all of these pieces are meant, or they were designed for women, and I am not a woman. But if you're going to use me for size reference, I am 5'11", I'm a size 44 in menswear, and I usually buy, depending on the designer, a 38 or a 40 in women's wear, or jeans in size 28 or 29, again, depending on the fit. But what I will do is when I link the pieces that I show you in the info box, I will also make sure to put my size next to it, and I'll let you know what fits big, what fits small, how I found some of the fits, because they were definitely all over the place, as you will see with this next piece, because the first piece that I picked up for the next outfit that I had in mind was this pair of baggy jeans, which had this really cool exaggerated turn-up detail in off-white. Now, I'm not usually a light denim kind of guy. I think it is actually quite hard to find a pair of jeans in a lighter color that don't look kind of tacky, but I think they nailed it with this color. I love the fit. I love that it had this more utilitarian feel to it, similar to the barrel pants that I tried on earlier. Obviously, they are completely different. They cannot really be mentioned on the same page, but I felt that they had a really similar kind of handyman DIY vibe to them, and I also really liked the contrast top stitching on these trousers. So I bought these in a size 38, which, as you can probably tell, were way too big. I mean, nothing a belt cannot fix, but if I'm going to keep these jeans, I'm going to have to exchange them for a smaller size. Now, I think the range starts at a size 32. I definitely think that a 36 would be too big, so I think I'm going to exchange them either for a size 34 or a 32, but I am leaning towards a 32. So just keep in mind that these jeans run insanely big, so I definitely should have taken a smaller size, but I love the fit. I thought the color was really flattering, and I really enjoyed it with this cropped beige sort of trench. I almost said coat, but it's not really a coat, it's more of a jacket, which I thought was a really cool, modern, contemporary take on a classic piece like a trench coat. Obviously, we are so used to seeing trench coats. I have a couple of trench coats myself. My favorite one is a black trench from Burberry, but I think it can look and feel kind of been there, done that. Not that I think that there's anything wrong with the trench. I think they are a great wardrobe staple, but if you're looking for something that is a little bit more modern, a little bit more interesting, going for something like this that has a cropped silhouette, I think is something that you will really enjoy, because a trench at the end of the day is just an incredibly practical piece to have in your collection, and I love this little twist that this jacket has. I felt that it was really beautifully made. I loved the quality, I loved the buttons, and I genuinely thought that it was something that I could style in a ton of different ways. I did end up throwing a cashmere sweater over my shoulders just to add a little bit more dimension to this outfit, because I felt that it washed me out just a tiny bit, and I needed to darken the overall outfit just a tiny bit. This particular sweater is not from COS, it's from Hermes, purely because I didn't have a cashmere sweater from COS on hand. But as far as I understand, COS does have a huge range of cashmere knits. I have never tried them myself, but I will make sure to link some down below for you that are comparable, because some of them are really quite interesting looking. So I might give those a try. If we ever do another one of these videos, I should remember to order a cashmere sweater from COS, because some of them do look really quite interesting and I would love to give them a try myself. But anyway, I think this outfit is definitely something that I could see myself wearing. I'm not sure if I'm going to be keeping the trench, just because I already have a couple of trench coats in my collection, but I am tempted, and the jeans I am definitely exchanging for a smaller size, because I think it would add a really fresh facet to my collection. I definitely don't have anything quite like it. If you saw my last video that I did on my 2024 wish list, this next sweater I think will look really familiar to you, because it looks, I mean, not identical, but it looks incredibly similar to one of the pieces that I had on my wish list from Hermes, which I will be giving you an update on very, very shortly, because you will see an Hermes haul from me in the coming weeks. There is a piece that I had to exchange for a smaller size that I'm waiting to get. I couldn't get it from my own boutique. They couldn't get it for me online. It had to be transferred from another store. So we are just waiting for that piece to be delivered. And as soon as I have that, I will be sharing with you a few little things that I picked up from Hermes for spring summer. And one of the pieces that I looked at but didn't end up picking up was a really heavy chunky knit from Hermes, which if you also like the look of, I would suggest checking out this wool sweater from COS, which I have to be honest, I was incredibly impressed by. I just wish it came in a few more colors. Hopefully it will at one point, because as far as I understand, it is a new style that they're doing for spring summer, but the quality is just exceptional, which is this really chunky, heavy paneled wool sweater, which is crafted from a super heavy but insanely luxurious chunky wool in a color, I think they call it a stone beige color, which I usually have to be quite careful with these sort of ivory off-white beigey hues because I'm already so pale. They tend to wash me out and make me look great, but I thought that it was a really nice neutral shade that even looked flattering on me. And I love this really intricate paneling detail that honestly would put the Hermes sweater that you'll see me talk about in an upcoming video to shame. So if you love a really chunky heavy knit, if you don't mind wearing wool, because obviously the big difference between the Hermes one and this one, other than the price, which I think this is like 1/10 of the price, is the fact that this is made of wool, whereas the Hermes one is made of cashmere, but it is a really soft, luxurious plush wool. It's not one of those wools that will leave you really itchy and scratchy. So if you don't mind wearing wool, this is definitely something that I would suggest giving a try. As I mentioned, it really feels just unbelievably heavy and luxurious. I love the high neck detail. I love the paneling, which I found really flattering. And I also like the fact that the paneling didn't stop on the sides, but it went all the way to the back. So even the back part had some interest to it. Now again, this is a crop silhouette, which I personally really enjoy, and even if you're taller or even if you're a man watching this video and you're thinking I could never pull off a crop silhouette, yes you can, as long as you have high-waisted pieces in your collection or you like layering, because you can definitely wear a crop sweater over a longer t-shirt or a longer shirt. I think if you choose the right color, it can actually make your outfit look a little bit more interesting because you introduce additional textures and layers into your outfit. So this is a great wool sweater if you like a heavy, chunky, luxurious knit that won't break the bank but will have some really nice interest to it. This is something that I would highly recommend giving a try. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, something that I would not recommend picking up, something that I did have high hopes for but was not for me, and this is the one piece that I will not be keeping and I would not recommend unless you love this aesthetic. It is this sort of polo style sweatshirt which comes in this really beautiful indigo color, which is the reason I wanted to give it a try. I thought it could be a really nice piece to do a double denim look with, especially when you're traveling and you want to wear jeans but you want to be more comfortable on top. I thought this could give you that sort of double denim look in a more comfortable way. So this is part of the COS loungewear line, which you can definitely tell because it's made of this really plush, almost towel-like material. It's not just your regular run-of-the-mill cotton. It feels a lot more substantial, a lot more plush, and a lot more weighty, which I really enjoyed, but I didn't like the fact that it was so oversized and it was so shapeless. And I did try my best. I tried to tuck it into my pants. I tried to roll up the sleeves as much as I could, so there would be a little bit of dimension to it, but I personally did not feel that I could have made it work. I know that it's not something that I would ever reach for. Now again, I did go a little bit overboard with the size because I ended up picking this up in a medium, which as you can see was wearing me instead of me wearing this piece. Maybe it would have been better in a size small or even in an extra small, but still I just really wasn't impressed by it. So it's now something that I will be adding to my collection. I think they do offer a matching pair of sweatpants, but those seem to be quite baggy and oversized too, which I know would just make me look like a hot mess. So this is the one piece that I will not be exchanging. Instead, this is something that unfortunately is going to be a return. Overall, I have to be honest, I am pretty impressed with the pieces that I have found at COS. The standouts are definitely the belt. I think everyone needs to buy that belt if you can find that belt in stock. Again, I'll try to do some research and I will make sure that if it's in stock, I will link it down below for you, because that belt, I think everyone needs to have in their collection. Whether you buy it in silver or gold, I don't think it matters. I'll try to buy both because I think it is something that I will wear a ton. It definitely looks a lot more expensive than it actually is. Another piece that I would highly suggest checking out is the turtleneck, that layering piece that would make an amazing base layer that you can of course wear on its own, but I think it is something that you will reach for a lot. It comes in a ton of different colors. I'll definitely be keeping the black one in large, and I might also pick it up in some other neutral shades. I just wish they had it in some larger sizes too, but for size reference, I picked it up in a size large, which I think I can make work. And then I would say that my third favorite piece is that boxy wool jacket that I was really blown away by, especially considering the price. So those were my top 3 pieces. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if there are any other high street brands that you'd like to hear my thoughts on, let me know in the comment section, and I can definitely pick up some pieces that look interesting and then share with you my first impressions. But I just really appreciate you being here and watching. I hope you enjoyed trying something new together. I know I had fun with it, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. But that was it for today. I appreciate you being here and watching, and I will see you back here with a new video really, really soon.